Morning, everybody. I was having a little trouble there with sound. If you can hear me, if I'm okay, you can hear everything, let me know. Welcome. It is Tuesday, October 17th. Welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. Good morning, Kathi. So glad you're here with me. Um, and yes, thank you. My daughter is doing better. Um, Today, we're going to have some fun with the Heartfelt Hexagon. I'm going to show you three cards, and typically I only do one. When I tend to do more than one, I try to hurry through because I try to be respectful of your time. But I'm not going to hurry through today, and we still should be done within about 20 minutes. But I want to show you three different cards and how versatile this punch is. So I hope you had a great weekend. I'm so happy you're here with me this morning. Good morning, Becky. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to get ready and get started. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. And I hope you'll find some inspiration and joy in watching. Good morning, Renee. And if you're with me live or in the replay and you follow me, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. So I'm going to flip this camera down and we are going to get started. Okay, I want to show you what we're using today, and it's pretty simple. It is an online exclusive. It's the Heartfelt Hexagon, and it is a photopolymer stamp set with several greetings, just a few little add-ons, flowers, a little flourish, but you have these great outlines to use with this hexagon. And I'm going to show you a tip for using that because I did have a little bit of a learning curve with it. And you have your punch. So this is what we're using. And I've decided to pair it up with the Garden Walk Designer Series paper. Now, the Garden Walk paper is in your mini catalog. It is in the September to December catalog, and it comes in 6x6 sheets, and you get 8 designs, 6 of each. So I'm just going to show you these pretty quickly so you know what we're using, because we're using several of these for the cards today. But really bright and beautiful papers. You even have one in here with poinsettias that you can use for the holidays. And I think this is the last one. So let's get started with our first card. Now, our first card, I am going to show you one that is for a masculine card. And pretty quick and easy card. We are going to be using Pretty Peacock, and I chose to use these two papers, and I cut the hexagons out of them for a masculine card. They're pretty easy to do. So again, all the measurements will be on a link in my YouTube site by 10 p.m. this evening with a downloadable PDF and all the supplies. So don't worry about measurements. They will be there, but this is 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. So I'm going to just go ahead and burnish this. And I wanted to keep this pretty simple or benign for masculine. So I chose a white layer with the one of the basics 3D embossing folders, the one that I call it hashtags. And that's what we're going to adhere here to the front of the card. So I hope you had a great weekend. And had some time for yourself and some fun either crafting or doing something that brings you joy. So let's put this down. All right. Now, I've cut out several hexagons, and what we're going to do is we're going to layer these on here. I'm going to start at the top and the bottom, again, go over to the side. And then this one we're going to cut in half. So I'm just going to bring in my trimmer, and you certainly could cut it with a scissors, but because we all know I don't do anything straight, I'm using my trimmer. So let's go with this. So I'm going to put the first one down, and I am going to use my glue for this. And I'm going to start at the top. What did I just do? I used the wrong side, so we'll be okay with that. Let's go with the other one. And look at that. I had them all here, and now I can't, I'm sure they're here. I just showed them all to you, but I don't see them. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's punch them out again. All right. So let's punch this and this. And you know what? I'm going to find them when the video is over. But we're going to go with this for now. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this. All right. So I'm just going to set these off to the side, and I'm going to bring them up right towards the top and over to the edge. My second one is going to go like this. I cut it in half. That's the one we cut in half. And then the third one is going to go here. Now, the reason I wanted to just kind of play with it is to see where I needed to put this in order to fit this one in. And that looks really good. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this one first so that we can fit it in. I think this paper is so pretty and versatile because you have for both masculine, you have for the holiday. Let's go with this here. And now this one is going to go right in the middle here. I find it hard to come up with ideas for masculine cards, and I think one of the reasons is because we have a lot of floral. But with this one, I think it provides some really good options. Now I'm also going to cut another one of these out, and let's just pop this in here. And we can use this to back one of the hexagons and pop it right in here. Now, you can split it, or you can do a second one, and I'm going to show you that. But for the greeting for this, I thought it would be fun to just put on here for you. And we're going to stamp this in the Pretty Peacock. I just kind of left everything for this card in that color scheme. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and now there's two options for this. One would be to just take our hexagon and we're just going to kind of outline it a little bit, and I'm going to scoot it over. I don't want a lot, just to give it a little bit of an outline. And I'm using the multi-purpose glue. Now you can also do it on the other end, or you can split it. I didn't want to split it because then I kind of had a blank in here, but let's go ahead and add this one. And I'm going to add it to the back here. And let's flip this over, and we're just going to add it this way. And I think it gives it just a pretty edge. And now we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals here. Again, simple, easy masculine card. But what I thought we would do is to add some brass, some of the brass brushed metallic adhesive backed dots, and that will give it a little bit more masculine look to it. So we're going to pop this in here. Again, pretty simple. And then we're going to do the inside, but I'm going to leave it blank. I thought it would look pretty with the copper. So I'm just going to add one. Let's put one here. And let's put one here. And then I'm going to take a bigger one and just put it up in here. And then we're going to take a basic white. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and we are going to cut a piece from this paper that is just a 1/2 inch by 4 and put that across the bottom. So let's do that here. We're going to cut 1/2 inch. Go. So you would be able to get several pieces out of one of the sheets, 2 of those sheets of designer series paper. You'd be able to make several cards. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this to the bottom. And scoot that over a little bit. There we go. And then let's adhere this up here. Now I thought for if we use this for like a birthday card, one of the greetings on here is let's have cake or let's eat cake. You could put that on here. You can use a greeting from another stamp set if you want something different. But here's our card, just for a masculine card. So let's put that off to the side, and I'm going to show you the second one. All right, so for the second one, we're going to use wild wheat. And I'm going to bring all that in here. And we're going to be using the in color dots, the 2023, 2025 in color dots. And let's bring all this in. So for this one, we are using the same 4 1/4 or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we're using wild wheat. I have not used this color much. I have to admit it was not one of my favorite in colors, but it has grown on me. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you, but it definitely has, and especially with this paper. Now for this one, I'm using the Distressed Tile embossing folder. All of these are going to be similar, but yet different. This is basic white. And on this, we're cutting the designer series paper in strips. And let me get this down. Okay, so for this one, we are going to use this designer series paper. And this is with the Poppy Parade. And looks really pretty together. So what I did is I cut 1/2 inch strips, 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and adhere 3 strips to the side of our card. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, when I cut my strips, I cut them from the Designer Series paper so that I could maintain my image with the flower. So you can see that they kind of come together. And this one is going to go, oops, this flips around. This goes this way. So let's go ahead and put these all together here. So let's put these in. And they don't really have to do that. I just did it that way because I liked the way it looked. So we're going to start, and I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge on here. And let's move it over just a little bit. All right, now let's do our next one. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on. And I guess they aren't going to match. That's okay. I don't like that. Let's go with this one. I had them so they'd match, I thought, but maybe not. So let's go with that. And then you just slide it over, and then we're going to do another one. I'm just going to bring this in, and we're going to use that. Okay. Okay. So now the next one is we're going to take, I cut 2 hexagons, one from Poppy Parade and one from Wild Wheat. And we have a white one for our greeting. Now, I thought this would make a pretty sympathy card, and that is one of the greetings in here with sincere sympathy. And I also wanted to use this hexagon outline, but there is a trick to using that. And when you do use something like that, they're pretty thin, as you can see. And they always say drop it down. Don't put it on your and pick it up. But even with that, I had some problem with it lining up. So I want to show you a trick that I did to line this up. And I simply took and I laid this right on my hexagon in my punch. And I didn't push it down in there. I simply lined up the 2 points and setting it on top. And then I took my block, oops, there we go, and picked it up. And then I just made sure it was secure. And then if you lay it down, you can see it's lined up with your hexagon. Now there is another trick to doing this. These move. They're kind of, I don't want to say the word is flimsy, but they're pretty mobile because they're thin. So when you stamp, you want to just stamp down lightly and pick it right up. If you try to press down too hard, it actually moves. So I'm going to test this here. Okay. And you can see here, I want to bring this up. I pressed down and you get like a double line, and you don't want that. So, and it did take a little bit to do this. So let's try it again. Down and up, and there you have a much better line, and you get the dots like you're supposed to get them. So now let's try it on here. I'm going to try not to get my head in here. Yep, let's flip it over and try again. I really found this I love the look of it, but I found this a little bit harder to do. There we go. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to stamp it with Sincere Sympathy. And again, using the wild wheat. All right. Now, for this one, I decided to double layer it. On one card, I'll show you. But here, I'm just going to take and cut this in half. So let's bring this back in. See if we can lose them again. No, I'm kidding. And we're going to cut this in half. Okay. Now for this one, I thought it'd be pretty to double layer these. And so what I'm going to do is layer my red first. And layer this one onto here. All right, now we're going to go ahead and layer this one on these two. And what I liked about it is that you were able to pick up some of the colors from the paper and just kind of carry that color scheme through. So let's do this one first. And I only want to catch a little bit of the color on the top and on the bottom. All right, give it a good press, and we are going to pop this up with dimensionals. So let's grab our dimensionals. That should be good. I'm not sure where all of you are. Oh, Becky, I'm glad you like it. That was the easiest way for me to line that up. And believe me, I went through lots of basic white cardstock to try to get that to line up well. Okay, so here's that. And then I went ahead and made a little double bow out of my linen thread. And we're just going to pop that on with a dot. Let's tuck that in here. All right. And then I thought to decorate it with the in color dots, we have wild wheat. Now let me grab some hand sanitizer here because I'm covered in ink and glue. And I don't want to get that on my card. Just a quick tip if you're not familiar with that. I keep hand sanitizer on my desk. When my hands get sticky or inky, I just use that, and that seems to take it off. And you can kind of just go on with what you're doing. So let's pick up our dots. I have several of them here. And I like with this tiled one, I really like to put the dots in the tiles, in the center of some of the tiles. I think it looks really pretty. So here's the outside of our card. And then for the inside, we would just use a piece of basic white, again 4 by 5 1/4. And I have another piece of that designer series paper that we're going to adhere to it. And then on my sympathy cards, most of the times I leave them blank so that I can write a personalized greeting. And then do that at the time I send them. So here's the inside of that card. Okay. Look how pretty that is. Now I'm going to show you a second one where I did match the prints, and you can see the difference in it. So mine got messed up in bringing them over to you, but that's just an idea. Okay, now let's bring in our third card, and this is our last one. And with this one, we are using Pretty Peacock again. And the designer series paper, not this one, I chose to use for this is this one, which I thought was very pretty. So we're going to go ahead and fold. Again, measurements are the same, 4 1/4 by 11. And again, I use the distressed tile embossing folder. Now this one's going to be a little bit different too. So several ideas for using this bundle with the Heartfelt Punch. Okay, for this, I cut 2 1-inch strips by 5 1/4 of designer series paper. And we're going to go ahead and adhere these over to the right side of the card. Now, when we're going to do this one, and then I'm going to show you another way to do this one, one that's already completed. So let's adhere this here. Yeah, down a little bit. Oops. And over. It's not quite straight. There we go. All right. And then this one, I'm going to put right next to it and over just a little bit of white in between. So a little bit different over to the right side of the card. All right. Now for the greeting, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut our little square or our hexagon. So let's do that. All right. Now for this one, we are going to stamp again using that outline, and it's already lined up for us so that we don't have to do that again. So I'm going to clean it real quickly here. And I'm actually going to use a white to do that, because I want to make sure everything is off. Okay. Okay, I also keep microfiber cloth on my desk and use that. So with this, we're going to use our Poppy Parade. And we're going to ink this up. And again, I want to come down very gently on this. And like you saw before, it takes me one or two times to kind of get it. And I still didn't. Let's try stamping it and then punching it out. That looks better. Okay. And it should line up pretty easily since we did that with, and it does, see that? So if you go ahead and line up your stamp, you will be able to punch it out much easier. So I'm using For You in the Poppy Parade. And then I took the little flourish from the stamp set, and we're going to stamp that with Pretty Peacock right above and below the For You. So let's do that here. And we'll do that here. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the other one. I want to go ahead and punch out using the Poppy Parade a hexagon. And we're going to go ahead and cut that in half too. I'm just going to pull this in quickly over to the side here and cut it in half. Okay. Now with this one, I'm just going to put it on. I'm going to put our tag on, or our hexagon on, without just kind of pop it up. But I want to show you, if you want to step it up a little bit, what you can do. And I will show you that in just a second. So here's this. And we're just going to pop that right up on there with our dimensionals. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad you liked the sympathy card. I think there's many, many things you can do with this stamps, with this bundle. My mind was just kind of coming up with all ideas that you could do with diamonds with the, or hexagons with the designer series paper. Let's pop this here. I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. That's better. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my 2022-2024 dots. Now, the dots on here are Sweet Sorbet. We don't really have any Poppy Parade dots. So I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet, and you're going to see that they really go quite well with this. And we're just going to pop one here. I'm going to put one down here. And let's go up in here. So there's the front of that card. And the inside, I have a strip of the designer series paper. This is a 1/2 inch by 4. I'm just going to put it across the bottom this time. And then for the greeting, I took another greeting from the stamp set. And this one says, "Sending you lots of love and hugs." I'm going to stamp that in the Sweet Sorbet. I just want to ink this up well. Okay, and I'm going to bring my pad back in. And let's, they're pretty. I love those. I guess I would not have thought to put Poppy Parade and Pretty Peacock together on my own, but they're such a beautiful color combination. Okay, now stay with me for another second, and I'm going to show you how to step this card up by showing you another card. So here's our card. So if you want to step this up a bit, you can add some ribbon. And I used the basic white linen, the iridescent ribbon, and you could simply run that around your layer, the embossed layer, before you laid it down, before you adhered it, and then put your greeting over it. That's one easy way to do it. And then another way is I actually used my very best trio punch, and I used this to stamp. Let me show you how that works. I put my hexagon in there, and this is just scrap, and press down, and you get this little opening that I ran my ribbon through, just to dress it up a notch, and adhered it with some tape to the back of my layer, my embossed layer, and then adhered the layer down. So a couple different ways. So let's bring all the cards back in that we did today. And let me come back to you for a minute. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's 3 easy cards just to give you ideas of how to use that hexagon punch and the bundle, Heartfelt Hexagon. So if you liked today's video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the video if you like. And I will be back with you on Friday at 11 o'clock. And thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.